And before tip-off, Nick Nurse says he expects Kawhi to play the remaining 3 games of the season. He had a physical first half. Shoulder checked by Rodion's Karooks, and then minutes later.
We go to Chicago this summer when we go to the Cubs game. Here's Kawhi flying through the air, soaring. And
that is Matt Devlin on the call. Good guy. Later, ball checked in. Leonard knocked in the head by Ed Davis.
A foul on
colliding
Kawhi,
with his
Davis.
Shoulder. Leonard stayed in the game. Raps led by 7 at the half. D'Angelo Russell and Pascal Siakam, they are the main contenders for most improved player.
Green finds
third quarter, Siakam for the corner. Look at the Nets on the bench.
I don't like that. I agree.
Yeah, I don't like that either, Jack or Matt. Siakam 3 for 7 from 3-point range in this one. Minutes later, another corner look from Siakam. This time the Nets stay glued to their seats, watching Siakam make it again. Fourth quarter under 2 to play. D'Angelo deep 3 while falling down. Nets down just 5. Next trip up the floor, Siakam taking multiple defenders to the basket. Serge Ibaka, 2 of his game-high 28, as the Raps win their 5th straight.
Jack has the George Costanza wallet.
He does. It's going to hurt his back.
The biggest story on the 3-game NHL sked from Wednesday night was in Chicago. Not the Hawks, but the visiting Blues. A St. Louis win would put them into a 3-way tie with the Preds and Jets for the Central Division lead. And if the Blues somehow win the Central, they would become just the 2nd team in NHL history to win their division after being last in the league at any point after the 20th game of the season. The other team was the 07-08 Caps. A pair of Hawks legends, Phil and Tony Esposito. This is called One More Shift. Chicago does it before 7 games. Tony telling Cam Ward, you see the crap I had to wear? First period, Jonathan Taves dishes to Patrick Kane for driving the net, and Taves 35th. Taves, he's captained the Hawks to 3 Stanley Cups, sets a new career high in goals. He's getting better with age. Opening minute of the second, Vladimir Tarasenko grabs it in the neutral zone, keeps, wires. A win for St. Louis would put them into that 3-way tie atop the Central. Tarasenko's 32nd in the 3rd. Kane sent in, partial break, and oh, what happened? Well, it went in and out so fast, no one knew it was a goal. It was. Kane sets a new career high with his 107th point of the year. St. Louis scored late to tie, so this one needed a shootout. Taves, the shootout specialist, scores. 3rd round, Tarasenko needs to score to keep the Blues alive, and whenever we say that, what happens? They don't score. Cam Ward with the poke check. On a night with Tony Esposito in the building, Ward 37 saves. Hawks win.
So the Blues miss an opportunity to leapfrog the Preds for 2nd in the Central. The Coyotes must win their last 2 games, and they can't be in a shootout and have the Avs lose their last 2 in regulation, or else they're done. Thursday, the Avs actually host the Jets, and Arizona travels to Vegas. Where, oh where? Where, oh where could you see that incredibly important Jets-Avs game? Important to the Jets as they try to lock down the Central. Important to the Avs as they just try to lock down a playoff spot. You'll see it on TSN3, and Dennis Bayak will be on the call. It'll be a terrific broadcast.
Sens and Rangers, thanks to an LA win on Tuesday. Ottawa guaranteed to finish dead last in the NHL this season. Early first, Sens man advantage. Bobby Ryan in front. Thomas Chabot slap shot. Drills him. Oh no! Did it get him in the hand? Please, not the hand. No, it was the leg. Okay. He's shaken up, remain in the game. A few minutes later, another Ottawa power play. Nice passing play. Finished off by Ryan, second goal in his last 21 games. That's not good. He's got 15 on the year. That's his most since he scored 23 with the Sens in 13-14. Well, the most he scored with the Sens was in that season, 13-14 with 23. In the second, Brady Tkachuk tucks it home. He broke the franchise record for most goals by a teenager in his last game. He's got 22. Third period, 3-1 Sens. Brian Gibbons steals the puck from two different Rangers and then finishes a give and go with Colin White. 6 of Gibbons' 8 goals this season have come since being traded to Ottawa at the deadline. The Sens win a meaningless one, 4-1.
Lost in the emotion of the Kevin Pillar trade on Tuesday was the fact that the Jays locked up Randall Grichuk to a 5-year contract extension. That's right. Instead of trading away the player and then paying the majority of his salary, which is known around Major League front offices as the Blue Jay way, Toronto is paying Grichuk to actually play for the team. Exciting stuff. Canadian tennis star Bianca Andreescu, fresh off her win at Indian Wells, throwing out the first pitch. Nicely done for the Mississauga native. Second most famous person from Mississauga after Gino Reda, of course. Rio Ruiz, that throws offline, and look at this. That's Grichuk. He scores a first opening inning run for the Jays this entire season. Then in the third, Grichuk takes the 1-0 pitch deep to left. Second of the year first and signing that $52 million extension.
I think we're going to sign a couple more guys to $52 million to get them going, so I'm going to talk to Russ about it.
That's classic Montoyo. And that was the first of 2 home runs on the day for Grichuk. Matt Shoemaker starting for the Jays. Through 7 innings of shutout ball against Detroit in the team's opening series of the season. 5th inning, trouble, 2 on, gets Pedro Severino to line up the third. Richard Urania doubles off the runner at second to get out of the inning. Shoemaker yet to surrender a run through 5. Then in the 7th,
Here it comes.
8th strikeout of the game, went 7 strong, allowed just 2 hits as the Jays avoid the sweep at the hands of Baltimore. When do we return? Retired? Not retired? Conor McGregor continues to troll, but did he go over the line this time? We've got the details. You're watching Jay and Dan on TSN, the home of the UFC. Well, we've been checking in on Bryce Harper a lot, especially since he's playing his old team, the Washington Nationals, as a member of the Philadelphia Phillies. He walked in his first 2 plate appearances on Wednesday. Since this one to the left side of the infield, beats out the throw. Then in the top of the 7th, Harper makes better contact, lining one into center field for the single. No home runs, but Bryce Harper on base 5 times in this game, 2 for 2. 3 walks. 8th inning, the bases are loaded, 1 out. Andrew McCutchen, another new Philly, chasing home all 3 Phillies with the double. Throw to the plate is just a little bit late. And the dive by Scott Kingery, well, not really a dive, but sort of a, he just avoided the tag. Just very deft, very Matrix-like. Bottom 8, Adam Eaton grounder back to the pitcher. Reese Hoskins, first baseman for the Phillies, just butchers it. Watch here. It was a good throw, and Hoskins just whiffed on it. I guess it wasn't a good throw, but it was good enough. 9th inning, David Robertson in, loads the bases, nobody out. Pitches inside to Jake Knoll, and that brings home the winning run in the Phillies' first loss of the season.
Mets and Marlins, Jacob deGrom has allowed no more than 3 runs and an MLB record 30 consecutive starts. He has a 1.53 ERA over that span. But he's just 9-9 in those games. Top 3, Mets up 1-0. deGrom, more like DeBomb.
With a drive out to deep right field.
Second home run of his career. Doubles the Mets lead. Bottom half of the inning. reigning Cy Young Award winner, coming off a 10 strikeout win opening day, strikes out the side.
Up a 5-year,
In the seventh,
$137.5 million, believing that
does the exact same thing, sits them all down. Struck out a career high 14 in 7 innings. So he becomes just the 5th player since 1969 to hit a home run and record at least 14 strikeouts in the same game. He also registered his 26th straight quality start, ties an MLB record. As the Mets sweep the Marlins.
New York already without 10 regulars, including Giancarlo Stanton. And in the bottom of the second against Detroit, Troy Tulowitzki strains his calf and is forced to leave the game, expected to be placed on the injured list. So the injuries taking their toll on the Yankees offense. 9 of their first 15 batters struck out. Bottom 6, Gleyber Torres, Greg Bird, Tyler Wade, all gone on strikes. So that's 12 strikeouts through 6 innings. Bottom 7, Mike Tauchman, DJ LeMahieu, Aaron Judge. They go down in order, so that's 17 of the first 24 Yankee hitters strike out. No Yankee team has ever struck out 18 times in a 9-inning game until now, Clint Frazier. First time in the 118-year history of the franchise.
We kicked off the show with the Raptors highlights. They beat the Nets, and that was a brutal loss for a Brooklyn team that is barely inside the playoff picture. The Nets, they went into Wednesday part of a bottleneck that included the Pistons, Magic, and Heat. 4 teams, 3 spots, 1.5 games separating them. Pistons handed a huge loss.
Get it to the fan who was able to drive.
Oh, that guy hates attention.
Now the Heat were in action, and Dwayne Wade playing what could be his second last home game. Standing O as he checks in. They're hosting Boston. Wade, look at this vintage Wade from the baseline, working on Kyrie Irving. Now guarded by Jason Tatum. No problem. He had 17. With the Heat down 4 at the break, we're going back to Kyrie. Heat try to double him, doesn't matter. Does not matter. Working on Bam Adebayo. Yeah, that's like Wade. He had 23. He scored 20-plus in 7 of his last 8. The Celts get the victory and deal the Heat a tough loss.
Orlando entered sitting 9th in the East. A near must-win for them with 4 games to go. They're playing the Knicks. Oh, this one's easy. As the Magic now have the 8th spot in the East because of that Heat loss. They passed them for the final playoff spot. The Heat, though, have a game in hand. 3 of Miami's 4 remaining games on the road, with 3 of the opponents holding a playoff spot. But now, Detroit, Brooklyn, Orlando, and Miami separated by just 1 game.
And I was talking to a dad at my daughter's preschool today, and we were both saying, you don't want to play Detroit. Detroit plays Toronto tough. And Dwayne Casey has an axe to grind with that franchise. So
yeah, the Pistons have won every game this season.
I'll take Brooklyn. The ugly rivalry between Conor McGregor and Khabib Nurmagomedov continues over social media. Tuesday, McGregor, who said he was retiring last week, made comments about Khabib's wife and made fun of their religion. Khabib fired back Wednesday, referencing McGregor being investigated for an alleged sexual assault. The Nevada Athletic Commission says, quote, the social media exchanges may or may not be discussed should either fighter reapply for a license in the state. UFC boss Dana White issued a statement saying, I'm aware of the recent social media exchange between Khabib and Conor. The ongoing situation has escalated to a level that is unacceptable. As such, we're taking the necessary steps to reach out to both athlete camps, and this situation is being addressed by all parties internally. McGregor has since tweeted an apology saying, I want to move forward with my fans of all faiths and all backgrounds. All faiths challenge us to be our best selves. It is one world and one for all. Now see you in the octagon. So I guess, first of all, that wasn't really an apology, but it is an indication that Conor, and I know this is a complete shock to everybody, may not be retired after
Yeah, so
all.
is he unretired? We're in limbo here?
I don't know. I mean, it seems like if he says he'll see you in the octagon, unless he's going to be the referee, I think he's coming back. McGregor's suspension's over April the 6th. Nurmagomedov's suspension is over July the 6th, so here we go. Could be happening.
An inspirational video went viral Wednesday of former Coyotes player Craig Cunningham skating with a modified skate attached to his artificial leg. Former Vancouver Giant was showing off his edge work and crossovers. And then Cunningham joked at the end of the video, saying there may be something other than his health holding him back from making a professional return, saying, quote, "I still can't skate backwards." Now, he lost his leg after suffering a massive heart attack before a game against the Manitoba Moose in 2016. Cardiac arrest affected the circulation to his left leg, so doctors forced to amputate below the knee.
He was only 26 at the time. Can you imagine? Just unbelievable. Great to see. Yeah, and he is now a scout for the Coyotes, so that's great to see. Now for the rest of the stories you need to know. And again, we wait for producer Tim to complete our brand new Jay and Dan Newsreel graphic package. I know he's working on it. Jeannie Bouchard, she's taking a break of undetermined length from tennis to, quote, get healthy. This according to Tennis Life magazine. The 25-year-old Canadian has withdrawn from 3 upcoming tournaments, hasn't entered any events so far this spring. Everybody knows about her health issues and her attempts to get back on track. Hopefully she can.
Just when Canadians are sweeping, taking over.
So much good stuff happening for Canadian tennis. She's currently ranked 76th in the world.
4-time All-Star Fred Stamps has signed a one-day contract with the Eskimos to officially retire with the team. 37-year-old played 8 seasons with the Eskies, finishing with just under 8,000 yards and 49 touchdowns. Stamps sits second in receiving yards and third in receptions for Edmonton. Stamps also a 5-time West Division All-Star. And the sad thing about all this, well, despite the fact that he's retiring, he retires having never played a single season with the Stamps.
Well, I think Eskimos fans are probably happy about that.
I know, but Stamps with the Stamps,
there was a marketing opportunity lost, no question. But he will go down as one of the greatest Eskimos ever. Yeah. No question about that. Former Braves manager Bobby Cox was hospitalized in Atlanta with undisclosed medical issues. The team has not shared any of the details on the Hall of Famer. Current Braves manager Brian Snitker said he was very concerned after reaching out to Cox's family. Early reports said it was a stroke. He is in hospital. He is 77 years old. Led the Braves to 14 straight division titles. Remember that incredible run they had? And, of course, managed the Blue Jays from 82 to 85. That concludes another edition of the Jay and Dan Newsreel.
85 Jays, my favorite, the first ever pennant. By now, you've heard of TSN Direct, TSN streaming service. You probably watched the Raptors game on it Wednesday.
And you've probably also heard about our streaming service, Jay and Dan Direct. It's going great. We just got Steven Spielberg's assistant's email address. We plan on emailing her once we buy a computer that does email.
Let's see what original programming we're offering this week on Jay and Dan Direct.
And we begin with this. Looking for a soothing way to watch SportsCenter? Check out ASMR highlights. You'll get all the skin-tingling excitement of watching highlights that eventually put you to sleep. The hockey highlights are done in a whisper. The golf highlights are pretty much silence. ASMR highlights. Your volume is not broken.
Our next show is based on this clip from Monday's World Men's Curling Championship.
Count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
I could listen to Vic count all day. Counting with Vic Router should be on TSN 2. Well, forget TSN 2. Counting with Vic Router is coming to Jay and Dan Direct. Watch along as Vic Router counts things. Different kinds of fruits, beans in a jar, the seconds in a day. It's counting at its most accurate. Counting with Vic Router. He usually gets to 5, then starts all over again.
Finally, if you're excited about Jordan Peele's Twilight Zone, check out Dan O'Toole's Toilet Zone. Host Dan O'Toole explores the strange and bizarre happenings from inside the bathrooms at the TSN offices in downtown Scarborough. The first episode explores the mysteries of why it smells like that in there. Dan O'Toole's Toilet Zone. Producer Tim calls it a psychological thrill ride that is stupid. It's all coming up on Jay and Dan Direct. You may remember Dan was investigating one of the situations with the toilets, a gentleman who would always take his glasses off and then go into the stall, and he would leave his glasses on the counter.
Yep.
Very strange.
And we'll finally figure out why there's always boogers on the walls.
There's always boogers on the walls. Here's
no
TSN bathroom in Scarborough. When we come back, Pop, short fuse in Denver Wednesday night. You watch Jane Dan. Dan, I have to show you what happened in this Spurs-Nuggets game. And it was a good game, but this is what everyone's talking about. LaMarcus Aldridge shoots the fadeaway. Pop thought he was fouled. Immediately addresses the official, gets a technical foul, and then after some more chit-chat, gets hit with another technical foul. And Greg Popovich, maybe the greatest coach in the history of the game, lasts only 63 seconds. Fastest ejection in NBA history. Spurs lose, but Pop needed to find out what happened in the game.
I mean, I've never seen anything like that.
Excuse me. Can I help Mikey? Good to see you, buddy. How you doing? Good job.
We were just talking about an NBA record that was set tonight.
What was the record? What happened?
Somebody got thrown out in 63 seconds.
Are you serious? That person must have, I mean, he must have hit somebody. Huh? Did somebody get hit tonight?
No, I don't think so.
Or did somebody get cursed at or anything?
It's part of the game in my book.
Wow. Okay.
Anything else, guys?
Hell of a record. Anything for me? I got to go. Continue with Mikey.
All right.
Good job,
Good to see you. Appreciate it.
That's good stuff. Sixers Hawks Vince Carter resting, so he wasn't playing Wednesday. Instead, he made his broadcast debut.
Play well. We're showing flashes of greatness.
And I think the key, too, is that
Coach telling me stuff.
they trying to sub you in. Coach is trying to sub you in. Coach, he's in a suit.
By the way, Vince Carter and his coach, Lloyd Pierce, are the same age. They're both 42. Just before that, Trae Young pulls up from downtown. Hawks put up 72 points in the half, third quarter. Young, give and go with John Collins. Big alley-oop snap. Vince Carter wants to play another season next year. Young with his second most assists in the league this season, under 2 to play in the fourth, 5-point game. Clutch triple by Young. Rookie finished with a 33-point double-double. His 17th game with at least 20 points and 10 assists. Good for third most in the NBA. Hawks down the Sixers.
Like this Trae Young-Luka Doncic trade is going to work out amazing for both teams. How is that possible? That leads us to the Jannies, some of our favorite and least favorite plays from Wednesday. Josh Reddick tracking the sinking liner and fully extends
And a nice diving catch
for your Houston Astros.
by Reddick.
See what the Raptors do here. Danny Green to Pascal Siakam to Kawhi Leonard.
Flying through the air, soaring. And a
For
turnover
the
and a
finish.
6-0 run.
That's nice.
Manchester City and Belgium international Kevin De Bruyne, one of the most complete players on the planet, with an incredible goal from a really ridiculous angle.
Grounder goes off the glove of Robbie Ray. Nick Ahmed adjusts to make the stab. Cannon. You could call it a cannon. You could call it a hose.
D-back's still wearing those.
Yeah, they haven't changed it.
Figure that out. Malik Monk.
Greensboro Swarm, who's been with the Hornets on this road trip.
Yep, that's good. I dig those
Same battery we
Hornets
saw in
unis.
Utah with the alley-oop.
So we had Nick Ahmed. On this play, we have Robinson Cano and Ahmed Rosario.
That was the old I got it, you take it, and Herrera hustling
They boot the
into
ball.
second base.
Thanks, Reggie Jackson. This is funny because the crowd, Detroit's a great basketball crowd, and they thought that Reggie Jackson broke the ankles of Miles Turner. Reggie's just stepped on his feet. He stepped on his feet.
And Patty Kane. Oh, man. So, Patty Kane, new career high in points. Jonathan Taves, new career high in goals. And they aren't making the playoffs.
When we come back. The Jane Dan Podcast. It's a good one. iHeartRadio app's the best place to get it. You can get it anywhere you get podcasts. Don't forget to subscribe and rate the podcasts highly.
Worst play of the day, Andre Drummond.
Be honest, Chris. Oh, my goodness.
That's a dead ball because it never hit the rim.
That did not hit the rim.
Backboard, too.
He's funny. Let's check out the highlight of the night. Back to Brooklyn.
So when we go to Chicago,
Danny Green launches one to Pascal Siakam down low to Kawhi Leonard.
Through the air, soaring. And a turnover to 6-0
Leonard.
Here's Gasol, the three, and it's good.
Apparently going to play the Raps last 3 games of the season, so that's pretty cool. Dan, unfortunately, you blew it.
What?
During the Blackhawks highlights, you said the Esposito brothers were part of the One More Shift event. It's called the One Last Shift. One Last Shift. And you also blew it during our promo board for the Montreal Canadiens game on TSN Thursday.
Yeah.
You said it was the Canes versus the Caps. It's the Montreal Canadiens versus the Caps because we have the Montreal Canadiens rights.
And I should have pointed out that Taves also, not only did he set a career high in goals, but also points.
Sucks they missed the playoffs.
What was the record? What happened?
Somebody got thrown out in 63 seconds.
Are you serious?